Good morning to you. My name is Catherine, here from the Best Western Hotel at Signature Mall along Mombasa Road. Thank you to the management for giving us this space to have this beautiful conversation this morning with our poets. Today we discuss some bit of insanity, and I'm joined by Odhiambo, Okello, and Oyoo. Yes, they have first names, but today we choose to just go by their the triple O's. Look at you. Yeah, I like that. And he's the author of this book called Season of the Insane: Poems, Short Stories, and Humor. Karibu to the program. You're actually, by the way, this is like ha 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 loud. You know this LOL, that LOL thing people say?
Yeah.
No, usually people say hello, and it's not even like, ha. Yours were, you read and you actually laugh out loud. So you're naturally funny.
No, not really. The things around me.
The things around you?
Yeah.
Okay, so wait. So you described our panelist, whom you all know each other.
Yes.
You said he's what level of insanity? You call him something?
He's a fool.
He's a he's a fool and a moron. Okay. And what about...
in creativity, when someone calls you a moron, it means that you're good. So,
Is it?
it means that you're good. So,
If I dare call someone I work with a moron, that would be a human resource problem.
he's a creative who writes and does comedy acts. If you call him a moron,
It's like high praise.
exactly.
Is it?
It's a superlative.
Are you feeling commended highly?
Yes. Actually, Odhiambo is my mentor.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Wow, that is so cool. So when he calls you anything, it's a yes.
yes.
Then you even double yes. And now yours now is now for next level. Untouchable. How would you describe him?
I think Bob is just the king of madness. Like, he was just born mad. Yeah.
Okay.
Comes from the kingdom of madness, I think.
The kingdom of madness.
Yeah.
Is there such a thing? But
If
there is, then he's a king.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Yes.
refers to my mother.
And boy, how would you describe him?
It's only madmen who have the boldness to tell the truth about society. You need to be mad to tell the truth.
Ah.
Yeah.
So then you're mad because your book, which you previewed a couple of weeks ago, there's lots of truths there about society.
It's in the level of madness. His is so brutal.
And you agree. I saw a YouTube clip of yours. I want, with your permission, if we can run it for the viewers to see. Yeah? Let's just see his level of madness. Then we can all choose to agree or disagree as to what Okello and Oyoo have said.
You are colorless. No. Never. You are colored. No. You are colorful.
Jacinto gulps you with eyes closed. You sweet fermented water. He frowns, sipping you, then lets an ish. It's so sweet. How? On the lonely road back home, Jacinto wobbles and shouts. His self-soaked trouser is trailed by houseflies.
So let's come to your book. Is this you? No, actually it's not you.
This is a guy. We have different levels of insanity.
Okay.
So I'm just in the stages of describing the cover.
Okay.
So Season of the Insane refers to the season of madness, when there are all these mad things happening in the world around us, and these mad things needed to be written. Then Season of the Insane also refers to the season of the insane, that season where the artist or the creative feels very creative. So there's the insanity of creativity, and then there's the insanity of the madness of the society around us. Yeah, so the cover, I needed someone getting out of newspapers, dailies, and then there are graves. And then as you can see,
Oh yeah, there are graves.
you see the colors of our flag, the Kenyan flag in those newspapers?
Yes.
The red, yellow, green.
Yeah.
And then those daily news making headlines in the top story, legalize corruption in church, legalize murder. All those, and then amidst this guy is disgusted and maybe crying, maybe laughing. You see, his face is 50-50. If you look at it from the angle of someone laughing, you see a guy laughing. If you look at someone disgusted, you find it in his face. If you look at someone terrified, you find that.
Yeah.
If you look at his hair, of course, that reflects the freedom fighter's hair.
Okay.
Actually, his hair is decent.
Oh, okay. How is it usually?
Like the guy here, because he's insane like this guy.
Okay.
And then the road depicts a journey through life, and then the road has potholes. So the journey through life is full of potholes.
It's a very well thought out cover.
Yeah, it's never an easy journey.
Yeah.
And then when you walk through the road of life, you can see coffins outside the road of life. There are always things that will want to scare you from your journey.
Yeah.
There are the coffins next to the road. And then now we have the old shoe. An old shoe depicts struggle. So
It's old and torn, actually.
yeah, so amidst all these struggles that make us laugh and make us cry and make us disgusted,
Yeah.
we are in the road of life, all of us, and probably, you never know, maybe this road is winding to the grave.
Yeah, maybe. Who designed this for you?
It's called Seth Sketcher.
So you had to like explain what you wanted, or he just...
No, actually the concept came from, I love working with a team of guys. So there's a friend of mine called Anthony, he's also my protege.
Okay.
He's a painter. So
Oh, wow.
I also paint.
love painters.
I also
Oh.
paint. So you
I should do... Okay, wow then.
So Anthony is a painter. So there are some of the paintings he did. So when I was looking for a concept for the book, I went through his concepts. Then I picked one, and then I told him, try to develop something from here. Then he hand painted it. Then I told Seth that this is what I want. So Seth is a digital drawer, digital painter.
Right.
Yeah, so the concept was developed by Anthony.
And Seth Digital.
And Seth. That one.
Yeah.
Then of course now I tied that to the poems that were.
I love it. I love it. I mean, this cover is a story by itself. Oyoo,
Yes.
which is your best poem here and why? Are you ready to read it?
Yes, I'll read it.
What page is it?
Page 50.
50.
The,
Okay,
if,
go.
if you lie, yeah? The poem is titled If You Lie. Lies are good. Creativity, they improve. They sound good to ears that hear, not ears that listen. But whenever you lie, another lie you need to cover the first lie. To cover all the lies, how many covers will you require? Uncountable. Careful when you cheat, for in covering lies, you might be late to discover how cautiously a coward you become for lying. The society is so full of lies, and everywhere people are masquerading to be things they are not. Politicians, even us, we ordinary human beings going about our daily lives try to masquerade and wear masks that are not ours. So I still insist that it is only the mad that we see in the society, those that the society have termed as misfits. They are the only ones that are true faces. Otherwise, everyone has a mask.
Oh, wow, I see what you mean. Like, so the misfits we see them for who or what they are.
Exactly, nothing else. You know, when we're here, I'm so sure our viewers have constructions about us. Yeah, he's so-and-so, she is that and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but when you meet a madman in the streets, that is who he is. Yeah.
Vile tu umemwona ndivyo yuko.
Absolutely no mask. Yeah.
Wow, what was the inspiration, and do you agree with what his interpretation is?
You don't need to chase wide, so that was not my interpretation.
Okay.
But then he's interpreted it the way I'd never seen before, so it's a good
Oh, that happened also in his show.
Yeah, so what I wanted to achieve in that poem was In my family, there were some guys who used to tell lies, a lot of lies. There was a friend of mine, let me call him E, Mr. E. Mr. E would lie about anything, about how big the house is, how he has published many books, how he finished Form 4, where it's in a big school, a big national school, which I won't mention, how he's in college. Unfortunately, Mr. E was expelled from a certain small school, and now he's in another small school. So Mr. E was a liar.
Okay.
Yeah, so his lies to achieve life, even I normally see him on Facebook nowadays.
Okay.
He's still living that kind of life.
So he's in a bubble.
Yeah, he's in a bubble.
Okay.
He's living in the
So
past.
E inspired this poem.
Exactly.
You see, he's a great man. His story appears in your book.
No. He's a good example of a bad example.
Which landed still in your book. So, okay. Okello, your mentor. I'm sure you'll say all the poems are great, but which one to you stands out? Which page, and can you read it?
Page 48.
Oh, I liked that as well. The day I die. Yeah, I marked it.
The day I die. The day I die, people will wail. Sorrow, sadness, and solemnity will rend ruggedly the air. Dwindling disbelief shall linger, as if I am immortal. Wrong. I am just a human born from a womb that menopauses.
By the way, at that point, I'm sorry, that was so funny. I'm like, you can't just say from a womb, full stop. That's funny.
You see,
Am I the one who finds it funny though? No.
Yeah,
A womb,
It is funny, isn't it?
but it's the reality. A womb that stops, a womb that dies.
Yeah, but the way he puts it,
The day I
see, a womb
die.
that stops, I wouldn't have laughed.
people think that you're immortal, but then your place of origin is also immortal. Is also mortal.
Yeah, it stops, it dies.
What's my place of origin?
The womb. And it stops, it dies.
The womb.
Menopauses.
Menopauses.
Yeah,
the day I
stops,
die.
dies wouldn't make me, oh my gosh, this dude is
You know,
crazy.
menopause means it can no longer be.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it has
it's just the way you put it.
stopped.
Yeah, it's about the choice of words too, eh?
Okay, continue.
Mightily my admirers will mourn, and my downfall be mourned, pitying my lifeless figure, fixed under some glass and wood for good. Me they will miss, once more, maybe twice, some infinitely, but too late the dear dates. I'll be busy enjoying the pension of a dead poet. Flash no selfies, they are selfish of you. Hashtag funeral manenos, black suits, black dresses. Are you charcoal or tarmac? Don't dress dreaded dark, just be simple. It's a funeral, my funeral, not a paraded party of fashion trends. As I recite this rant, my heart heavies from the weight of deceit, strongly rooted in the chameleon hearts of mankind, when true humans will weep for a poor me, rivers to ocean of tears.
Okay, hold on there. Now that one, that was depth, because there's lots of, and at times I think culturally we are supposed to like wail, mourn. There's some cultures that it's an event.
Yeah, and, yeah.
Yeah, but there are those for whom are not like tied into this whole cultural. They don't have. I mean, they cremate. It's over in a day, you know. But this thing of where we cry and say all of these beautiful things about people, that touched a chord in me. And I've seen it lately this year, especially in our political
Sphere.
Yeah.
I'll be asking myself, why do other people mourn with one eye on the grave and the other eye fixed on my new phone, trendy dresses and classic shoes? If you do that on my funeral, I swear to send you horrible nightmares.
Okay, what was that about?
There are a lot of hypocrites. There are those guys who they pretend to be your friends and they are not your friends. You see, we live in a world whereby you can go hungry, you can sleep hungry. And then there's someone who owes you a debt of, let's say, even 200 bob. They won't send it to you when you need it. But then immediately you die, they'll form a WhatsApp group. They start contributing 1,000 bob a tao, yet you died of hunger. You see how hypocritical it is? We live in a world where you can die of hunger, then someone throws away food because he has surplus. then he'll still donate money in your favor. Why do you do that? Why can't we just help someone
They're still alive.
when they are still helpable? That's why I was
Is helpable or what?
Well,
It's one. It's okay.
I love improvising.
I like that too, by the way.
Improvising words.
I like that. Okay. Okay.
On my funeral, come not drinking mineral water. If I'd be dead from thirst of thirst, or from lack of some sodium or calcium, you hypocrite. For the great glutton of the village, he'll be smiling and hyena laughing at how funerals provide fantastic feasts, free Fanta, buttered bread and tasty tea. But for the current cost of life so high, sorry to announce, my funeral shall be full of hunger. So come and mourn me with your food ready in your belly.
Huh? Oyoo.
Yes. You know, this poem and Bob, the person, and the character is trying to shake the core of societal structures. Many times we go to funerals in pretense, wearing the mask I talked about. Stripped off that mask, that frown you wear in a funeral, it's a mask that if stripped off, you're so happy. You're so happy that Bob died. You're so happy that you're going to have free Fanta, buttered bread and tasty tea. Yeah. But you wear the frown so that you can be served food.
If you truly love me, your tears will freely flow. Sip your tear, dear. Each drip, each drop, a memory. Each memory, a sigh. Each sigh, a piercing pain. And each pain, a wish. A wish that I, at this, wouldn't bring you this. For this is a loss and a miss.
So I chose the persona of Adis, a lady.
This is like Odhiambo.
This
Okay.
is Odhiambo, because the first time I wrote this poem, it was of this. Then Professor C.J. Odhiambo, my lecturer, the one who
Did the forward.
did the forward,
Yeah.
he told me that don't include your name in the piece. Make it anonymous.
Why?
I don't know his views, but then
I think part of the reasons why we choose anonymity is that we have different faces, and a writer, a creative writer, or any artist for that matter, has different facets and masks. Yeah, so you cannot present to your audience your real self. You don't even know who you are to start with. Yeah.
Wow.
you see, for example, the poem If You Lie, if the poem was about Mr. E, maybe Oyoo's interpretation would be null and void. But then because it's open, it gives anyone the mind to,
Interpret however.
to interpret.
Yeah. So you're talking about you change from Odis to Adis.
Yeah, to Adis, so that it's a lady.
Yeah. It couldn't be like Otieno.
Oh, he was equally working on the rhyme.
I see that.
Yeah, so I think it
I
had to
see
be
that. Actually, I've seen it the last.
4 lines. Huh?
So this last stanza was dedicated to now the guys who truly love you. Now the non-hypocrites.
But do you think as a society we'll ever get there where, like you're saying, I'll come to your funeral because I know you, I'll contribute, I'll do that frown for the 3 hours I'm there, and then I go home and my life moves on.
If you realize, the whole poem is about rants. It's how many stanzas? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So only one stanza is about the guys who love you. So 1 out of 8 will probably love you in that funeral.
Wow. Wow.
1 out of 8.
That is sad. And then you say they should not come to your funeral. They should come when they've eaten.
Yeah, come when it's written because
You won't feed them.
I'll be so mad. My spirit will be so mad.
Okay. So there's one here that you need to tell me what inspired it. No longer a crush, page 29. She's no more a crush, but a big smash. She is. She spins this world, lights this world. My little universe she is. Eyes big, but not so drowsy or dim. She's slim, but not so slim. A virtuous lady she is. She's not brown, but holds the queendom crown. Yes, the holder she is. Wherever you are, my Nyaber, smile for me like this.
See, life happens in a way that love seems to be one of the overriding themes in society. So there are series of love poems I've been writing since 2010, depending on who was around me.
What kind of relationship you had?
What kind of relationship was there. So this specifically was for that point.
For that lady?
For that lady.
Okay.
But then, you see...
she's lucky she got a poem.
She doesn't even know it's a poem. I just found it in my archives.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so if you realize with this book, the way it flows, the love poems, they are arranged in a way that they start from love poems that guys are seducing one another, they're lovey-dovey, then they go, then they heartbreak one another, and then they move on. Yeah, so No Longer a Crush is a poem that the guy, the persona is still
in love.
Is still in love with the girl. Yeah, before they break up.
Yeah.
So there are a series of poems that follow that, and then they eventually break up.
Yeah. Okay. What determined that style of writing?
It was not really a style, but then, you see, as poets, whenever you're in a certain emotion, whenever you're facing a certain problem, you tend to write it. So when you're in love and it's a good feeling, you write about it. When you're in love and then you have been heartbroken, now it's a bad feeling, you write about it. So all those poems that were in love, good feeling, the ones that I wrote, I arranged them in that order so that we see that life sometimes flows in a way that it starts from good to bad, and then nothing happens.
Maybe healing. There's no healing.
Maybe there's healing.
Yeah.
It's called Moving On.
Yeah. Moving On is healing.
Moving On is a poem called Like Always.
What page is that?
Page 36.
You moved on quickly. Page 36, you have moved on.
He moved on after marrying the lady.
Okay, can you perform that for us then?
The poem is called Like Always. He believed, for it he lived. He thought he achieved. Yes, sad, he didn't. Fact, yes, sad. All she said were jokes, now turned real sour. Yes, sad. She didn't live to them expectations. Betrayed the promise. Heartless, this is sad. But why did she lie? I sigh. Why did she try to make him fly when all she wanted, when all she so wanted was make him crawl on hot coal? Sad, yes, very. Cry he did, surely, silently, like always. This is a guy who has been heartbroken.
Okay.
He's used to the heartbreaks, always, never seldom. Dismiss, feelings dismissed. Sad, yes, very. But then, belief out of this grief of love so brief. He believed that no matter how aggrieved, lessons are achieved. No matter how much you are aggrieved in anything,
There's a lesson.
there's a lesson achieved. So what do you do after achieving a lesson? Move on, yes. Very sad, but then just do it.
And down there?
Down there.
What does
Now
that
this one, these are humor. These are joke now dedicated to let's assume he wanted to marry that lady. So he's so disgusted and he says that the day I decide to take dowry to my wife's home, I'll take only one pregnant cow and leave it there to bear the rest. Probably this guy was heartbroken because maybe he married the lady, he took a lot of cows, he bought a lot of cows, he spent a lot of cash on them. So maybe he's saying that the next time I get married, I'll just take
one pregnant cow.
Pregnant cow.
I think there's something I would wish to mention and emphasize, particularly on Bob's book, Season of the Insane. We have so many books in the market that are anthologies of poems combined with short stories, but these are very different genre. Like, we don't have a book out there in the market, for sure. We don't have any that has snippets of humor. We don't have a book out there that has poems, short stories, and humor. Yeah. All the books out there about short stories and anthologies of poems.
Yeah.
So it's a very unique book.
Yeah.
Actually, what I wanted to do was that, you see, when you have a book of an anthology of poems, and I shared with him the idea before, I met him before, after he had written Maiden Melodies.
Yeah.
I shared with him that, you see, there's a past world that guys believe that if you read a book that has only poems, there's a point it becomes monotonous, boring, especially if you've not arranged them theme-wise. Likewise, if you read a book that has only short stories, it becomes monotonous. You might get bored. And we live in a society where guys, they get bored quickly, they go to Facebook, they start chatting. So to keep their attention, I wanted to mix up
The humor in it.
mix up a humor, a short story, a poem.
Yeah.
So that
So-
it's like a montage.
When we come back from the break, will you perform the way I saw you do on YouTube? Or that was something totally different?
I don't know, I can.
Oh, perfect. You do not want to miss that performance, I promise you. Right after the break.
This poem is dedicated to my cousin. She's called Lydia. Her nickname is Nora. So not just Nora, but then to all the college girls out there. The poem is called A Mess to Clear. You see, your looks privilegedly fashioned, page 75.
Thank you.
Your looks privilegedly fashioned. Your skin's sheen shines of expensive designer lotions. Your bags, Louis Vuitton. Thanks to your new guy, a darling of rank, a devolution officer, a sweet sir, a hot sir. His age is gold, never old yet. His shiny bald head, shiny like Oyoo's, that's why he puts on a Kangal cap. His shiny bald head matches his shiny counterclad. He is your fine wine, yet an age mate to your tutor. But now, Nora, my little cousin, imprisoned you are to the painful pleasure, a cage of fashion chained to the air roots of flesh-hungered animals, clocked as devolution tours. Your sir's cell of life grows innocently under your silver-hungry belly. With the delivery of the growing cell, a second wife you dream of. Poor you. Your firm chivalry to your sir, a raucous rivalry to his bitter wife. She'll buy a grumpy goon out of her dusty jealousy to clear the mess, for fear of having a 50th co-wife. Your mother will childlessly mourn out her womb to another child of the world who forgot the infamous line, "We are sending you to campus to read."
Yeah.
Those are the grandmothers when they're sending you to campus.
I figured out who that is.
You figured out.
Yeah.
And she died. Painful death.
Sadly painful.
Yeah,
As in that death inspired this poem.
exactly.
My God. Poets are geniuses.
The death was insane.
Wow. Some depth there. We won't say who that is, but I guess everybody has figured that out. Okello, what are you performing?
Well, I'll perform the poem on page 15. I own two left feet. I was bred from the bread, baked from ancient millet, seasoned by our ethics. To dance your beat, I can't, not even move my feet, because I own two left limbs. I was taught to sway like the breeze to our beat, the Nyabingi beat, the ancient beat of Kente, where grace and glamour, swaying and chanting were our lilt. Then came kangaroo style, carried deceptively in a pouch of ever-fading contemporaneous.
Contemporaneousness.
Okay. Then cuckoo dance followed, but time slaughtered it. Hippo style unhesitated, but obviously left in a third. And my style, my grandmother's style, eroded to primitive classifications of tourist mockatainment. Bend over style stood tall, along her wine and jiggle sister. Then I was strangled by Nyongwa style, to the thought that my sister and I could no longer sway to our beat, our grandmother's beat, but dance provocatively with vibrating greased waists.
And what is the interpretation of that?
It talks about now the contemporary dance styles and the lyrics of the songs that we listen to nowadays, and actually it compares it to the former styles, the traditional styles maybe, or something of that sort. It talks about like just constructive art or entertainment.
I think just to expand further, they are talking about the dance styles that their grandmothers and great-grandfathers enjoyed back then. Things that time has eroded, and we have embraced other things that were not so normal to us. And so the big question is, what is modern and what is that which is a traditional thing? Yeah. A man in our times and age who is listening to the timeless music of the 60s, is he a modern man? And an aged man, a 70-year-old grandmother dancing to cuckoo dance, is she modern or a traditional woman? So that is a conflict. It's a battle of where to belong.
And then remember also our dances now our traditional dances have been made just a mere tourist, not entertainment but mockatainment, whereby they come and laugh. Hey, the Maasais are dancing well. Let's give them 50 bob.
And our gods have been left to rest in shelves in some archives in Western countries.
So we think we are entertaining them, but they are mocking us. So it's mockatainment.
Mockatainment. Okay.
You see, these are the kinds of dance that you can't dance such a style with your sister. You see, the past dancing styles. I'm a stand-up comedian, so I can stand up.
Yeah, please stand.
You see, the past dancing styles, you could dance just swaying. Your sister is there, just dancing. Normal, yeah. But then
Which
nowadays,
style is this one?
It has no name. It's just,
it has no name.
There's no name.
Just
You're
dance.
just moving.
You're just swaying, yeah?
yeah.
Okay.
Swaying.
Yeah.
You're swaying.
Yeah.
You can dance. It's a dance that you can dance with your sister. But then, these are the styles, the current ones like bend over. Can you dance bend over with your sister, for example? You can't. Honestly, you can't. Your blood sister. You can't.
No. Something stood out to me on page 5. I'd never looked at it that way, where you said the word dedication starts like the word dead. Printed words are immortal, they live forever. This book is therefore not dedicated, but livicated.
Yes.
It's just genius thinking, I think. I mean, it's just, where does that come from? Even before you go to why you dedicated it to your uncle.
The word dedicated just sounds like dead. So, livicate something, don't dedicate. And then this is my uncle, the guy who died, my uncle Stephen Yeke. When I was called to join a high school, my mother really wanted me to join some national high school near our school. I had qualified. My marks had qualified me for that national school, but then I didn't choose it.
Okay.
So my mother went there to look for a chance there. And then my uncle, Stephen, told my mother that let the boy go to the school he's been chosen to go to.
Was it a national one?
It was not a national one, but
Okay.
it was a provincial one.
Okay.
Then, fortunately or unfortunately, the other school that my mother wanted didn't have drama or music. They were just academics. So you see, my talent would have gone to waste.
Yeah.
But then she listened to my uncle. Then when I joined campus, I was called to do education.
Okay.
I was supposed to be a teacher, the bed arts, so English literature. So after that, after first year of doing education, I changed to film and media and theater. Then again, we were at loggerheads with my mother. And then my uncle again stood up for me and said, let the boy choose what he wants. Yeah.
Wow.
So he believed in self-willingness
Yes.
in pursuance of personal interest.
Yeah. And it is him to...
He's one guy who could back you up in whatever you wanted to do, no matter how bad it was. So long as you love it, he'd back you up and pray for you. He was a prayerful guy.
Yeah.
He was a bishop.
So for your grandmother, I want you to read that before we go to Oyoo's reading. Page 61.
61.
Gawi, for my grandmother Gaudensia. Is that her real name?
It's called Gawi, Gaudensia. Now,
That's her name?
Yeah.
Wow.
Gaudensia is a mad woman. The story is how she can tell you a story. Sometimes I normally tend to say that I'm not creative. I'm just doing what my mother and her mother.
So you got
normally
it
do.
from them?
From them.
Is it?
True. The other day was my birthday, and
Yeah.
see a picture that my mother took. This is my mother on my birthday. My mother loves telling stories and enacting them. It can be a simple story, but then the way she will tell it to you.
Wait, so she
And-
bought cake
Yeah, she bought cake
herself?
for my birthday.
Yeah.
No, my wife bought the cake. So when she was eating the cake,
Yeah.
there was a section that I was supposed to go in my house.
Where were you?
In her house. We were celebrating my birthday in my mother's house.
Okay.
So we divided the cake into two. I was supposed to be going with one to my house,
Yes.
and then the other one
Achwenayo.
at Chona, and some of the kids that she stays with.
Yeah.
So she took what was remaining for them
Yeah.
and put it next to her chest, and then she said, "Mwenye anataka keki anipige." And then she made that kafani face.
Oh my gosh, she actually looks like pure comedy in that photo. You guys have seen the photo?
Yes, we have.
Oh, you've seen it?
We have seen the mother.
You've seen the mother?
Actually, the first day, Oyoo came home, and then I took Oyoo to greet her. She told me, "Now the madmen I've met." She didn't greet Oyoo. That's the first thing she said. "Now the madmen I've met."
Just looking at him, she decided.
She decided
The madman.
that he's mad.
Do I look mad, honestly?
There's something she saw in you. We may not see it, but her wisdom. So anyway, so you were saying now her mother, Gawi.
Now, Gawi is also a mad one.
Okay.
So before Bob reads this piece, I want to say that I think women and art is just one and the same things.
Inspiration.
Yeah. Because you see, most of the forms of art, be it paintings, be it poems, like people find them attractive when they talk about women. Yeah. Because women are just attractive, even the way they were created. I don't know if Bob loved.
What's Mboya
women,
laughing
but-
at? Why are you laughing?
His own book is about
He's all,
Yeah, even
there's
the
one,
title, Maiden Melodies.
but
Yeah,
there's
that's
one
just-
where which poem is that where you were given an ugly wife? It's Wageshi.
Next time you see Wangeshi.
It's Wageshi.
Yeah, so there's something fancy with art
And women. Why
yeah.
do you think that's the case? Like, why do women inspire poets or poetry?
I think men naturally, we have a soft spot for the suffering of women.
The suffering.
Away from that, I trust that.
You see, just a minute. If you make a joke about a man, we will laugh
Okay.
no matter what. But if you make a joke about a woman, we will say that you are insensitive.
Is it? But I thought, what is this I've heard? I hope I quote it right. Like, bar talk is mostly centered on women and just men laughing at conquests and things
Those
like
are drunk
that.
men.
Those are drunk men.
Look at the stand-up comedies on our TVs. Very few of them, the punchlines come from the men. If it's the women, the punchlines come in a way of celebrating them. We're celebrating African mothers today. Eh? Do you imagine my mother used to do this? And then people laugh, celebrating.
But they'll never stand there to say
Have you
negative.
ever had a drunk stand-up comedian doing a joke about a drunk mother?
Kevin Hart? No?
About a drunk mother?
No.
Never.
No, his mother was brave. Not
A
drunk.
drunk father?
Yeah, many. Those are the majority.
The majority, not the majority, all of them. All drunk characters in comedy are men, not women.
Okay.
Clean the drunk. Can't we have a clean the drunk who's a female clean the drunk? Man.
So you're saying when you write or speak about women, it's in positive light?
Most of the time. And then, you know, women don't have that hard feeling of, but
No, women catch.
yeah, women catch.
Yeah.
But then men, we don't have that hard feeling.
You saw, why did your book have something like ugly wife? You were given an ugly wife. What is that?
Ugly is an adjective, just like beautiful. So
But that is not
standard
positive.
measure. You say
They're busy here telling us how they praise women in their...
it's not
He was
about.
heartbroken. It came from heartbreak.
I have never been heartbroken. My heart keeps changing. It's like, no, the point is why most art is centered on women is, you know, I believe it's only God. If God is a man, like we address him as he, it's only God who's a man who has the ability to create, like he molded humans. Away from that, it's only women who can create. And artists are creators. And so that creation power can only be channeled to women. We are creators on our own.
Dude, you're so deep, man.
We're saying, we're saying,
You're really insisting on his own.
men are nothing without women, and I want to believe there's a way in which women inspire us. Inspiration must not be on the positive end. So my ugly wife was an inspiration too. I talked about a woman at the end of the day. It was a woman I was addressing.
Yes.
Yeah. So they have the ability to create, just like we artists. And that is why there's a line that goes that poets are gods. A male poet is a god because they have the ability to create. Bob has brought to page and to life. And we who didn't know Gawi, we now know her. He has created a character for us, yeah, and added to our friend list. We now know Gawi in the abstract world.
Yeah.
So he becomes a god. He's created Gawi. Yeah. Like, with a small G. Yeah?
Amazing. Amazing. So let's hear about Gawi and tell us first about her before you read about her.
Gawi is a strong woman. She's suffered raising her 5 kids. So she's comedy, she's drama, she's stories, she's narratives. There's a time I used to write about night runners. She used to tell me all stories about night runners. How to catch a night runner.
How do you catch a night runner?
If it's a night runner who jumps at the door, you don't bolt the door. You just push it and it stays that way. So when the night runner comes and jumps at the door, he slams it and goes with it inside there. It's open, so ataingia nayo, and then you beat him down there. And if it's a female night runner and you're a male, it might be your lucky day.
These are true stories.
Those are her
stories. Even your poster has changed when talking about the female. You slouched a bit and you felt a bit kingly. Really?
That is the power of the creator.
It's the power of the creator.
Exactly.
Let's read about Gawi, your grandmother.
So Gawi, for my grandmother Gaudensia, your once glowing golden complexion, now dimmed by raging wrinkles of age, but we love you still, Gawi, Gaudensia. The rainbow of our family, red rose is your love. You are growth and lineage, the green prosperity of us. A royal queen, women's dignity, your emblem. Flowers purple, I pluck you. Our juicy orange with sweet love. Your love quenches well. Gawi, always there like the sun. Our sky of hope, prayer, motivation, and hard work. More life, Gawi, is my wish for you. More love, Gawi, is my gift for you.
Has she read it? Have you read it to her?
I read it to her in mother tongue.
What was her expression, reaction?
She was happy.
She didn't cry? It's such an emotional one.
She told me that now you want to use this one to rob people. She calls me Chokora, Makanga. She has a lot of nicknames
For you? Why?
It's in her nature to give people nicknames.
Oh, I see. Oh, the way she gave. No, that's your mother who gave him madman.
They also give them nicknames.
Who?
Them. The way I also give them nicknames.
Oh, the way you, yeah. So your family is a thing. You give people nicknames.
Kind of.
I know. What's my nickname?
I find before the show ends.
Before the show ends.
Maybe a female Che Guevara.
At Yahoo?
The cap.
It's what Reverend said. We have. Okay, so as we conclude, Mboya, what were you reading?
The speaking poem on page 45.
Page 45.
Yeah. Assonance accelerates Agnes' days, but brutally Brian bribes alliteration to try violating Violet's consonants, since she hates tasting fake baked cakes, giving her memory in her exam days, plus musicality in many ways. We're not reading to find content or anything. We're just reading it for the musicality in it, the beauty and the rhythm and how he's trying to incorporate styles and explaining them, giving very typical examples. These things are examined in exams at school. We did exams with assonance and stuff. John is a pig. The mighty metaphor Samuel says, when differentiating metaphors from similes, when Ben was as black as coal, or he was tall like a giraffe, as and like make Samuel smile, for they only appear in a simile. When Father Cain's Paul, pap, pap, to Paul's sister, the sound is tap, tap. Yet for Samuel, it's an idiophone. For idiophones exist in no dictionary. From England is Sir Jack saying the cane goes whack, whack, which is an onomatopoeic pack. Oh, what an internal rhyme at this time, making the lines musical. Hillary taller than a giraffe, Alan shorter than a hammer, respectively hyperbole and understatement, mental picture created, or figurative language, or stylistic devices. What a memorable musical repetition. Sweet, sour is a contrast of words, oxymoron, Otieno recalls. This is the beginning of the end. Deep down, Otieno is shallow, paradox, Otieno recalls, a contrast of statements. The speaking poem, personification, the voice of life given to words innate on dead wood, a poem on paper. He has tried to illustrate all the possible poetic devices deployed in creating a poem. And right from the title, I love the last paragraph of this, the last stanza of the poem. The speaking poem, personification, the voice of life given to words innate on dead wood, a poem on paper. So away from us reading poetry for entertainment and the hype in it, he educates a lot. His poems educate a lot.
So I know you wrote a book. I know it's very hard for an artist to pick a favorite. The way a parent finds it difficult to pick a favorite child. Maybe yours didn't. Your family is unique. But which is your favorite poem here?
I have two.
You have two?
Because
nice.
they embody my ideologies towards life.
Okay. Which ones?
Spirits of Nature.
What page?
Spirits of Nature is on page 9, and Prayer of the Insane on page 14.
So I will read Spirits of Nature, then you close with Prayer of the Insane.
It's okay.
Spirits of Nature. Like the sun sets with care, knowing it will rise. Like the clouds exist with care, not knowing their next shape. So should our lives be, free, like the spirits of nature, free, but with care.
Anything you do, don't worry about the outcome, whether it will be negative or positive. Do it, enjoy it, but then be careful.
Got it.
Don't drink and drive. Drink and eat.
Okay.
And drive at a reasonable speed.
Okay, so we close the show with Prayer of the Insane. If they want to reach you, where can they reach you?
You can reach me on Facebook. My name is Bob Odhiambo. You can also reach me on Instagram. On Instagram, my page goes by the name Bob Arts Gallery. Bob Arts Gallery. B.O.B Arts Gallery. That's why I post on Instagram. My Instagram page is about posting my paintings.
Oh, you paint.
I paint. I also take pictures. I'm a photographer. My photography page on Instagram is called Bobography.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so you know how to reach him. If you missed any of it, find it on our social media. That's KTN Life and Style. We say goodbye on a prayer of the insane.
Prayer of the insane. Give me hunger, you unpredictable insanity. Give me a lightning of words to thunder out sense, O you who motivates minds by 3 a.m. orders. That's the insanity of the creativity. Give me appetite to drink the immortal ink of scribes. Give me lead soup I drink and drown in insanity's water, to fish out more words and proper parables that would speak to mankind. Give me a plate of asphalt sprinkled with potassium. Soup it with hot water into smaller fathomable pieces. I want to explode so that these paintings of words Picassoed in my mind are spread worldwide. Give me hunger, pain and want. Shut me out with failure and shame from your doors of silver and fame. Yet leave me a little compassion, a voice to speak to me in the end of the day, a hand to touch me in a dark room, breaking the inner loneliness that silver and fame fetches. I beseech you, sweet saccharine insanity.
Hello, Piki Mako. Thank you very, very much. And thank you to all of you for coming.